Now that we've taken a look at the patch tool and the standard healing brush, and we've seen how those compare to the traditional clone stamp workflow, let's take a look at what I think is the most powerful retouching tool in Photoshop. And in CS5, it's gotten even more powerful. This is the Spot Healing Brush, and this is available in the same tool group as the Patch and Standard Healing Brush, which we can access through the toolbar, or again, click Shift-J until we cycle through and find it. Now, as the name implies, the Spot Healing Brush is designed to quickly and accurately replace textures in very small areas of your image. Perfect examples of when you would use this are freckles or blemishes on a portrait. Maybe you've got water spots or dust spots on your camera lens. You could even use it on a picture that you were trying to restore. Maybe you've got a hairline crack on an image that you scanned. You can use the Spot Healing Brush for all these types of tasks and many others and achieve very accurate, very quick results. So let's take a look at some of the options. This works in pretty much the same way as the standard healing brush. We have all the same brush parameters, size, hardness, and spacing. And again, if we get into a tight space or an odd angle, we can change the angle or roundness of the brush cursor itself. We also have many of the same blend modes, and again, for any type of skin retouching, I'm going to leave this to normal, and that's going to create new textures for us based on the original and surrounding texture, or we can use replace, which is going to work like the clone stamp tool. Now we have three different types of patching or healing that we can do with the Spot Healing Brush. We can use a proximity match, which is what we're going to do on this image. And what proximity match does is it takes a look at the texture immediately surrounding your spot that you're trying to correct, and it tries to fill it in as best it can, and most of the time it does a really great job. Next we have the Create Texture option, and what this does is subtly different. It takes a look at the texture inside your brush strokes and then tries to replace the parts that are different from the surrounding areas. Finally, we have the Content Aware option in CS5, and we're going to show you how to use this in the next image that we're going to look at. So let's go ahead and take a look. Now the beauty of the Spot Healing Brush is that you don't need to set a source the way you do with the clone stamp or the standard healing brush. So if I want to remove this freckle, I basically make the brush as big or slightly larger, and I just make a little spot and it's gone. If I want to remove this little scar, I can do that. And you can do this throughout any of the retouching process. Now, if we jump over to the next image here, if I wanted to replace this bracket and just make this lantern float, for lack of a better word, we could do that using the new Content Aware option. Content Aware is going to look at what's around this bracket and literally try to guess what would be here if the bracket weren't. So I'm going to go ahead and just make a quick brush stroke around the core parts of this bracket, making sure I cover it all up. And I'm going to go something like that. I'm going to release the mouse, and a few seconds later, it's going to give us the result. And there you have it. This is a pretty amazing result for just making one quick selection. And of course, we can come up here and remove these little bits and pieces, and that's all it takes to remove the entire bracket in a very short amount of time without leaving much of a trace behind at all. Now, as you might guess, this is the exact same content-aware technology that you've been hearing about in the new content-aware fill function, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the training.